I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope.
What is your pleasure with the consent agenda?
I move approval.
I'll second that.
All in favor? The next select board meeting is September 7th. There we go through summer. At 5:30 here at the town hall. Any select board comments, announcements, Suzanne?
Anyone wants to come to the Savannah Fair, it's Saturday from 9 to 2, back by popular demand after I think 7 years of not being there.
And for the 100th?
Yes.
And what are we doing at the fair?
We have local craft vendors, we have Shanabello's is coming, we have music, we have raffles, bake sale,
You could
stuff,
win a shop vac.
You could win a shop vac.
Ooh, I need one.
You could win a drill set, you could win ice cream.
Golf access.
Golf, we got 6 rounds of golf with a cart, I'm just saying.
I'm not much on golf, but it sounds like a fun thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll get into business. Item number 1, liquor license renewal, Trinket and Brewing, LLC. Nobody's here from Trinket.
No representative tonight.
We're just going to do a renewal application. Municipal officers are asked to certify that the town has complied with the process outlined in 28A MRS 653 and that they approve of the application as presented.
So I presume that we have followed that.
We have complied, yes.
And so have they, from the looks of things.
Yes.
So I move approval of the application for an on-premises liquor license.
I will second that.
And I just want to say before we take a vote, they have been very responsible, have done a great job with their live music, and had great turnout. So kudos to them and to the people that have been visiting. So all those in favor?
Great. This is the form that needs to be signed. If you could just sign next to your name, please.
Not to somebody else's.
Oh, go ahead. Do mine however you want.
You smell the blueberry. Any?
All of it.
Hard to smell it, so that must be strong. Yes, good stuff. And lemon. The blueberries come. It's pumpkin season.
Yes, it is. I love that pumpkin spice.
So item number 2 tonight is open and review bids. A, town hall heat pump system, B, town hall window replacement, and C, town hall interior painting.
We received 1 bid for heat pumps, which I will open now. Todd Flaherty is here from Dave's World to answer any questions that you might have.
Oh, it's not Dave's work.
That's his brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I used to work for Todd's World.
A small world.
He's in a different world now.
this is a bid from Dave's World. It gives us 3 options. The option 1 is to provide a Mitsubishi 30,000 BTU 3-zone multi-zone system that consists of 1 outdoor piece of equipment and 3 indoor pieces of equipment serving 3 offices, which are the clerk's office, the treasurer's, and the administrative office. The installed price for that is $18,977.11. Option 2 is the same as above, but will add 12,000 BTU as a single zone system to handle the meeting room. So that would include this, as we have discussed. Expected installed price would be $25,163, and in these are included the efficiency main rebates. Option 3 is 5 single zone systems to include 5 indoor units and 5 outdoor units to cover the 3 offices mentioned and the meeting room and the back left office currently being used by the administrator. And the install price for that whole system would be $33,167.80, and with the rebates, the first option is $15,997.11. The second option is $19,363.41, and the option 3 is the total would be, with the rebates, would be $19,167.80. And I'll pass those down because I'm going to read things is easier than hearing things.
So
I guess
option 3 would be cheaper than option 2.
Net, yes.
Yeah.
Net.
And that's 5 zones?
5 zones, yeah. You're paying an aesthetic cost, right, because you have 5 pieces of outdoor equipment. But you get the larger rebate because it's the most efficient way to do the whole building. So Efficiency Man is rewarding you for that with a $2,800 rebate per system. I wanted you to see that just to consider it because I think a lot of municipalities have been using that. That's a small municipality offering only 5,000. I think there's less than 5,000 here in West Bath, right? So it's for communities that are 5,000 and less that Efficiency Man is offering that. And we've sold a few of those too.
What was the final price of the third version?
$19,167. So cost to operate?
Very similar because it's the same horsepower that we're trying to push, same number of BTUs. The 5 zone is more efficient, right? So you're getting more, the dollar per BTU output is greater.
So in your professional opinion, you would select option 3?
Yes.
Well, I presume also that because this room's not used on a regular basis, that it's not gonna be necessarily operational until needed
Right.
also. So having its own zone, I think makes sense.
And each unit's independent, you don't have to worry about having heat on here, you're gonna turn heat on here, or AC, vice versa.
Right. The multi-zone systems, there is a carryover, like if you had the option 1, 3-zone system, I didn't write down the breakdowns, I should have, but you lose control of your individual zones a little bit. You have your own remote, but you're all cooling, you're all heating, certainly. And then the larger unit is kind of going to drive the bus a little bit, where you get hot gas. The refrigerant is going to radiate into the other heads, even though you might not want heat. It's going to generate heat, so it's not a perfect system, like none of them are, but you do sacrifice a little bit of control with the multi-zones. And that multi-zone being multiple indoor heads on one outdoor.
But not the 5 zone, the number 3 with 5 zones and 5 units.
Number 3 is, yeah, all independent. It's just a matter of finding a home for the 5 outdoor pieces of equipment, which I've done. I'll share that with you, but.
Those are the supporting documents.
What is the warranty service contract?
Excellent idea, excellent. So they actually have the proposals in front of them.
The whole unit or just
No, just the
front page?
So standard warranty is 12-year parts warranty from the manufacturer.
I'm sorry, so it's 12 years.
Standard is 12-year parts, 1 year labor from Dave's World, 4-year workmanship from Dave's World, where we create some damage that's unseen for a period of time, and then it becomes obvious that it's our problem, that we'll fix it on our dime for 4 years, up to 4 years later. That's standard, but each one of those proposals has an offer to extend the labor warranty and do the recommended equipment cleanings every 2 years, or 6 times over a 12-year period. The benefit of that package is if you purchase it, the labor warranty moves from 1 year extra parts warranty. So Dave's will get you money up front at today's rate, they're charging you today's rate to do these cleanings, but they get your money up front. That's the downside. The positive side is they throw in 11 years of labor warranty.
So where's the incremental price on here for the warranty?
That should be lower left in the proposal. Do you see that?
I see the rebate.
On which page?
On which page?
Is it okay if I can take one?
Yeah, you're good.
Maybe I'm confused.
It's on the page. Got the materials and financing.
Oh,
Let's see.
You don't- Isn't that funny? I don't see
it on here.
yeah, you don't see, I can find it for you in a second if you'd like.
It's not on there, is it?
No.
There's probably no charge for it, then it's not on there. I'd accept that bid right now.
In addition to that.
It's in addition to the price. The standard, I presume the standard is included in the 12-year.
The 1-year standard is in, yeah. There's, all three prices for the extended are different because the amount of equipment
Right.
being cleaned and warranted for another 12 years is, or 11 years is different. So that's why it's not showing up there. I mostly do residential, so forgive me, it does show up on the residential proposal. Let's see here.
Christine, what do we allocate out of the COVID funds to this?
18,000.
And that left us with more unclaimed ARPA funds, right?
Yeah, we have about 38,000 that has not been appropriated.
Mm.
Doesn't have to be one of three.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, number 2 doesn't make any sense at this point.
No,
No, another.
I think number 3 makes the most sense, especially since we
Yeah.
can.
And one of the
Turn this stuff off.
concerns about not putting a unit in the office where I currently am is that the unit in the office where Julie and Carly are would be really working hard to support that office.
And if you
Yeah.
wanted to close your door, you needed to.
Yeah,
Don't do it in the winter.
right.
Right.
So is this more for air conditioning or heat?
Yeah, it's more for air.
Yeah, okay.
Because if we're going to replace our windows, we don't want to put the window air conditioning units in the window anymore.
And,
That's one of the reasons.
and for heat, it's secondary and heat relative.
I think the heat could be used
Oh, yeah.
for fall and early winter
It
anyhow.
should be used too.
In January, you might not use it every day because it's cold and then it is efficient.
Well, it used to be cold.
Okay.
Still chilly some days.
But chilly, David, another 5 years, we're gonna be Florida.
Well, they need
And it
AC
is
year round.
sunlight, so that helps too. Yeah, I'll have to shake it for Sam to see the sunlight.
If we could get the native sunlight at Florida, it would be awesome.
You get the first sunrise though.
No.
No.
They got snakes and stuff.
Not getting that.
Oh, we had, I had snake in my garden this
Attendance
weekend.
here.
Hmm?
What's happened with attendance here?
It's Travis night.
Nobody
I
wants
was
to talk
afraid
about
you'd say
heat pumps.
someone. Where are the rabble rousers?
I'm rebel.
Where's the scent? You're too kind.
Unscented.
They get to watch it on video.
They get
We had 700 some odd people watch it.
137 people could be
That's the last meeting.
A couple of more thumbs up would be great.
Go on, watch us and give
So
us
we
a
pitch
thumbs
out,
up.
if you like us, give us a thumbs up.
We should get all our families to sign in.
That 700 number is incredible unless someone's there just to boost your.
Oh, that was me, I'm sorry.
Could you at least give us a thumbs up, Kathy?
It seems a little high. Just a tiny high.
So,
Well, I have good news.
yeah?
I had to check it 5 times before I put it in my mouth. So I did include the extended warranty in the in the pricing that you see.
Okay,
Oh,
So
wow.
the breakdown for option one is $4,250 is in there for the prepaid
warranty.
cleanings. The second option is $5,950. And then the third option is $9,350. So you see the third option becomes more and more,
And,
in my opinion, more and more attractive.
well, for the sake of,
I move that we go with, option 3 for our heat pump system, as presented.
All in favor? Yes,
Do
David?
you have any idea, Todd, of an installation timeframe?
Yes, second week in October.
oh, good.
Wonderful.
Probably be a 3-day job, 2.5, 3-day job.
Mhm.
I have an idea of where all the equipment will be located and what, I'm not a graphic artist, but I've kind of sketched out where the line sets will be. I mean, you're familiar with what it's gonna look like kind of on the outside. But there's pretty good locations, in my opinion, on where to put the outdoor units. And if I remember right, you have exposed foundation, exposed concrete, quite a bit around, so we like to use foundation brackets where we mount the units to the foundation. Concrete absorbs any vibration and sound, it'll deaden sound, and it'll never move. As opposed to putting it on the ground, get it up off the ground 18 inches, so. Yeah.
So in that proposal, how many years of labor are included as stated?
12, yeah, which,
Oh,
I did, that's what my system's telling me here.
sign it before you.
Yeah, it's,
Now, Todd, do you think this is something where we could keep the office open during installation, or would you need us to vacate part of the time? Or at least be closed?
no, I don't think you have to close, no. I mean,
Okay.
the guys will come in, we'll locate the indoor equipment, they're gonna have to drill holes through the wall, so you might have to vacate an area for minutes or a half an hour at a time. There'll be a little sound, we'll be drilling holes through the walls.
Mhm.
We drill a 3¼ inch hole, right, to get the refrigerant lines from the inside of the oven. But after that, once they mount the equipment, it's really, it won't be, most of the work will be outside.
Will you install the lines overhead and crawl space attic or whatever?
Yes,
And then
for some of them, we utilize the overhead, yeah.
So all those upstairs. Don't mess with my internet line that was put up there.
Great, thank you.
So do you want to move on to town hall window replacement?
Thank you, Todd.
Do we want, yeah, so just the next phase is we usually have if it was a residence, we would ask for 50% down.
Yeah,
But with you, usually, I ran it by the office, would it be possible to get $1,000 down to get you on the calendar?
yeah, we could do
And
that.
then I'll present a plan to you, a sketch or some marked up photos of where we're gonna put the equipment, and we'll get you to give us the okay on that. And then once we start, we can talk, I'll let the office work out how we're gonna get paid. We usually get paid when we're finished too, so. Does that all sound reasonable?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, would you email me the proposal that you sent?
Yeah, I'm gonna clean everything up, send you that
Okay,
5-zone proposal, and then you and I will work out the calendar date and all that, and the deposit.
okay,
Awesome.
good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Were we as tough as you thought?
I'm sorry?
I said, were we as tough as you thought?
No, we didn't.
Not as bad as coaching basketball, right?
No, basketball parents are tough.
Window number 1.
Okay, this, for the weekend, is from Portland Glass on Bathurst, Brunswick.
How many window units did you propose to get?
2.
2?
We got 3.
Oh, good.
Portland Glass. So itemized, all total, where did they give me the total? Okay, so I'll read the whole thing, somebody do the math, please. So the 35 3/4 inch by 61/14. There are 13 of those, and the total for that comes to $6,063.98.
How many windows was it, 13?
That's 13.
There's a couple of smaller windows, right?
Yeah, those are coming.
I'm sorry, what was that first price?
Okay, you ready? There's an energy surcharge of $15 on those 13, which comes to $195 even. There's one 19¼ by 29¾ and that totals $466.46. There are two 18 by 37¾ and the total for that is $1149.28. Labor, residential, $1,600. And miscellaneous job supplies at 16, whatever that is, not specified, for $75. Well, it comes out to $1,200.
Yeah, miscellaneous. 16 hours, or 16 hours and $75.
The 16 miscellaneous supplies, I would imagine that is what, stuff that goes around the windows. And that is $75, and the total for that is $1,200. So I'll pass that down so you can see it with your own eyes.
So it comes to $10,674.72.
I did too.
That's what they got on here.
749.
They got
Oh, I didn't see that.
$9,074.72 materials, $1,600 labor, and they come up with $10,674.72. And if it's right or wrong, I guess we're counting this number, and if they need to fix it, we need to fix it.
Well, let's see.
They're even the lowest.
The next one is from Coastal Glass. Do you want to read it? We can take turns. Or shall I? All right. This is the total is $8,400 even. No deposit, payment when complete.
8,400?
$8,400 even.
And I presume it's for the same window sizes and?
14 white, 2 white, for the casement windows. For the small ones.
We got 14?
14 big ones. 2 small.
1 and 2. They got 13, 1 and 2 versus
With
14.
full screens, did the other one have screens?
It didn't address it one way or the other.
Yeah, they'll come with screens.
They're just all in it.
It was supposed to be 13, 35 3/4 by 61 1/4, one 19 1/4 by 29 3/4, and two 18 by 37 3/4. Coastal Glass was aware of that.
Okay. They're pretty windows, they don't have the
Grits.
grits in the bottom, just in the top.
Yeah.
With the manufacturers of the windows.
Hardy.
Copy.
And the other end,
They didn't
Portland
say.
glass,
They didn't say.
They don't specify.
Harvey's a good thing, that's.
Okay, this one is window and painting, so,
Window who?
window and painting, I guess they combined it.
Who's the company?
Bangor Abatement. And they give us a cost, they've got it broken down by size, and they've given us a cost for $18,900.
Is that just the windows? Or
Removing and it's, replacing 14 windows, Hobby's slimline, double hung, white, half screens, low E glass with grid pattern, 2 windows with vinyl window casements. Removing existing windows, remove and insulate any existing trim cavity, finish the interior trim to accommodate the new windows, all seams sealed with silicone and acrylic, and dispose of windows and debris. And work that includes, includes the 13 major windows, the one 19 by 14 and 2 18-inch. And so I'll
There's
pass
no-
those down.
Did you say there was?
Yeah, I thought it was for painting too.
The painting,
Yeah,
Lo
it's not
and
in there yet.
behold,
Yeah.
it's a different piece.
Oh, okay, we'll wait on the painting then. We do have another window there. This is the big package from Anderson. Renewal by Anderson.
Did you see this one?
I'm sure it's not interesting.
Renewal by.
I'm more than happy to go sit in the back room.
Oh,
If it was, I'd be really happy that I was in that family.
Well, we've got the full brochure.
Yes. That's a beautiful window.
Yeah, and
Casement?
the guaranteed views that we get?
No.
All
Oh,
right,
that's just the front cover.
Yeah.
You're not getting casement windows.
all right, they included some fun facts. Anderson invented vinyl in 1959. Must be vinyl windows. I don't remember much from 1959 if it wasn't in my house. Okay, so as requested, this is the renewal by Anderson project price for 16 window replacements, 14 double hung Vibrex composite windows, there's a typo, it says widows, 2 casement crank-out windows, and the total is $39,725.
Like I said, hold your seat.
And price includes taxes, fees, labor, waste removal, and a 20-year warranty. So,
That's
there
so
we
much.
have.
The crickets in the background is nice. Just 39,000? 725. Can't do that out.
I have to say that I've been very happy with my Harvey windows.
Oh, very happy. Must be good stuff. So I'm gonna move that we vote on, we move forward the coastal glass. It has install, removal, and disposal. Includes the full screens, are the only ones that said, they all do come with it, but they put theirs in writing, and it says $8,400.
Second.
All in favor?
Wonderful, moving along.
Moving along, painting. This is the one with the
I am.
painting.
I have one question for what did we allocate for windows?
10,000.
Look at that, we can take that money and put it over to our heat pump and break even.
Okay, so this is from Bangor Abatement, and this is their quote to paint ceilings, walls, trim, hallways, closets, and doors at Town Hall. And this is remove tape, half of that, and clean all surfaces, patch small holes, cover all items left in rooms with plastic sheets, paint ceilings 2 coats of Sherwin-Williams Pro-Mark, paint walls with Sherwin-Williams Interior Super Paint 2 coats, and paint trim and doors with 2 coats of semi-gloss Super Paint and a thorough cleanup. And the cost to paint the interior is $14,800.
And this one is from Skill in Painting. They're the company that did the painting downstairs.
So, their labor cost is given first for the town office interior, top floor and stairway, prime, spackle, sand, and caulk, 2 finish coats on ceilings, walls, and trim, 2 finish coats on stair treads and risers, and the doors are included. And the material, the labor cost for that total thing is $8,200. And the paint itself, Sherwin-Williams Cashmere, is $750 for a total of $8,950.
So where's the money coming from the painting? Out of the same
The
fund?
painting is coming from the $20,000 that the town appropriated for the building.
Okay.
Is this the last of the painting contracts?
Yes.
So I move that we go with Skill in Painting at $89.50.
Second.
All in favor?
Fantastic, thank you.
We did it.
Did the window companies
Stack them
say
all
when they
together.
get installed windows?
That's in my paper.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say
Charlie
that.
didn't say Charlie's collecting.
What was that, Dave?
I was asking if the coastal glass indicated when they could do the work.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a long delay for that. I think they intend to get moving as soon as they can.
Usually, takes about 2 weeks when they're done.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 3, approval of referendum, November 7th. The select board agreed to put forward a town meeting vote on whether to continue to hold open town meetings or to vote by referendum. The select board must approve the language that will appear on the ballot.
Carly has some proposed language for you.
Is this the one, the proposed ballot question is, do you support changing the format for the West Bath annual budget town meeting from open town meeting to referendum town meeting, yes or no?
Clear?
Very clear.
Yeah, I looked into the statute on whether you could have a question that, you know, if we could choose open town meeting referendum, and it wasn't really clear on that, so I thought it would be best just to be safe and go with the yes or no.
Right. What about reversing it and say, would you like to continue with the format of the open town meeting? Just switching it,
Yeah, that's up to you guys.
because it's what we have versus what.
So you can say, do you want to change or do you want to keep?
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
Change or keep, or keep and change?
I don't have a problem with either one.
I think we should start with what we have, because it's what we have, and then say, or do this.
Well,
Just
this is the way it is.
This
What
is
you
the way it's
got
gonna
is
be.
what we have now.
Right.
No, it's to use the word changing.
The format of the West Bath town meeting, first open, that's what we have now.
I would say keeping it open, or going to.
No, you're changing the word, you're not changing the meaning.
This is clear. The either or is to change from to. Public, any,
Sounds clear and simple to me.
I'd like the reverse that you said.
So it would say, do you support changing the format for the West Bath annual budget town meeting to referendum town meeting from open town meeting?
which makes it confusing to me.
Yeah.
And I think what Suzanne was saying is, do you support keeping the format?
Yes.
Keeping our current format of open town meeting,
Yeah,
or
change.
changing to,
And then it can't be a yes or no.
yeah, it is. Do you
Support
support
keeping that.
keeping?
Do you
Support
support keeping the format for the West Bath annual budget town meeting?
You would have to leave it at that, because if you
You
have
can't add the rest of it.
Or, Yeah.
From this to that.
If you have it either or, you can't have
It's
yes or
not,
no.
it's supposed to be an or, yeah.
So, but I think we can, the wordsmith, but I think you should say, do you support our current format of an open town meeting?
yeah, but then people won't know what the option is. Not everybody understands that the option is the referendum.
Yeah, I thought that
Keep it
was
simple.
the simplest way. Do you support changing it, yes or no? So, I guess that's entirely up to you.
or you can just change it simpler to, do you want to change the town meeting format to referendum?
I just thought voting to keep something,
I like
Doesn't
the way
make
it's written
sense.
here, I really do. I think it's clean, simple, easy, and a third grader can understand it. I think we start wordsmithing and then it becomes convoluted and can have different meaning.
I think people need to understand our current format is open town meeting. I think that's what you wanna,
and that's why I have the explanation above. So that's gonna be posted outside the guardrails, explaining open town meeting and referendum town
Yeah.
meeting.
And we will also have information candidates night for
Yeah.
school board, so we can.
By law, we have to hold a public hearing, so at candidates night, we'll also have a formal public hearing to clarify.
And we go through everything on the warrant before the meeting. We have an open meeting to explain things. And typically, it's the same few that come, but it is what it is.
Well,
Candidates night is coming right up October 5th.
Right?
Crazy.
It's crazier because we didn't have summer. So I moved that we use the proposed ballot question for the November election referendum.
Seconded, all in favor? Opposed? I would still like to think about in the future. It would be nice to see what the town wants to do, because those people showing up get less and less and. People, yeah. We're a town of 2,000, what do we usually get, 200 votes, maybe? It's sad.
Oh,
Usually don't get that.
Maybe
It
like
started going
60.
downhill when you cut out the homemade pies.
So
You want them to show up.
if you
Homemade
guarantee
pie.
me it will go up, I'll come up with homemade pie.
It would, I guarantee it, but,
well, are you volunteering? What is your pie, Steve?
oh well.
It would be worth a shot, right?
Yeah.
Somebody said they like pumpkin spice.
Love it.
Business item 4, workplace safety policies. The town is insured through Maine Municipal Association for Workers' Compensation, Property and Casualty, and Unemployment. During the town's last review, we were asked to adopt policies which address employee liability. The following policies are presented for consideration: return to work, safe lifting, slip and fall, video display terminal policy. Each of these policies were adapted from sample policies provided by MMA Risk Management. This month, the town of West Bath received a 1992 dividend check from the Maine Municipal Association because of its good performance in loss prevention programs.
That's good. So I move that we instate the workplace safety policies as proposed. They were very exciting.
so what's the video display terminal policy?
That's
Just
for
the height-
anybody who uses a computer. It's basically ergonomics.
The height of the,
Yeah, making sure that
I
our
second
bodies
that.
can deal with the work.
All in favor? Opposed? Town administrators report.
I don't have anything tonight. I think we covered quite a bit.
Future agenda items?
I do have, I do have concern about the October meetings. Just an announcement, I will be away for the 3rd Thursday in October and the 1st Thursday in November.
Okay.
First and third?
1st and 3rd, or 3rd and 1st.
I am available for all of those as scheduled.
Well, I don't expect the town to stop doing its business because I'm taking a vacation.
So what's the first Thursday following?
October 5th.
The third Thursday in October is the 19th, and
Okay, 5th and 19th, you'll be away.
the first
No, in
Thursday in
October.
November
November.
is the second.
So it's the
Yeah, the 5th and 19th.
the 19th of October and the 2nd of November.
I think we should keep it on track, because Julie's got
Oh,
the
absolutely.
bills and things.
Absolutely.
set for those, if we can.
2 is a quorum.
Business items, Board of Assessors, certified ratio declaration form.
The certified ratio, because we just went through the reval, certified ratio is 100%.
That is correct. So everybody's homestead will be the full amount.
Of what it was last year, or the, whatever it was.
The full amount that's available is 25,000.
Got it.
So every year, the assessors, the municipal assessors are required to certify the number of homesteads and the amount of reimbursement.
And this is what we are saying, 569 homesteads.
Yes.
And the total value of a homestead,
14,200,000.
Is that, and that's the same amount that we had last year, correct or
No, it varies from year to year.
no? Okay, I thought we were just using the.
Well, we were at 100% this year, I don't know what we were last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we did not go through the revaluation, we would have been at 78%.
Okay. Thank you for that.
that would have been risky.
And then item 2,
Oh,
tax.
we need this sign.
We
Need
need,
it signed.
I move acceptance of the certified ratio declaration form as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
And I have the date.
17. It was this morning, and it was out. What it is now.
I hope it stayed the same.
So business item 2 is tax commitment set mill rate. The town auditor and a representative from Parker Appraisal will work with the treasurer and town administrator on Thursday morning to set an appropriate mill rate for the 2023 tax year. The municipal assessors will be presented with various options to set the rate for the commitment. These are all the different options.
Yes, and I know it's a little bit hard to read. So what you're looking at is line 19 on each of the forms.
Okay.
which the first form shows a selected rate of $6.75. That leaves you an overlay of $70,447.88, which is the bottom figure. The second form is the selected rate of $6.80, leaving you an overlay of $106,550.82. And the third option is a selected rate of $6.85, leaving you an overlay of $142,653.75.
And what was our rate last year, June?
10-2?
It was $10.70 last year.
10.7.
So the rate that we're recommending is $6.80. The letters that went out suggested a mill rate of $7.85. So this is significantly lower than that.
And it gives us a very generous overlay.
Yeah, it gives you a nice overlay for abatements.
What that is for them.
And we are gonna have abatements.
From the
Yeah.
letter that went out
Mm-hmm.
and this amount here, do you have any idea what the average decrease would be for a, say, $500,000 home? How much less it would be based on this rate versus the other rate?
Yeah, 500,000, we ran some figures today, so it's basically $100 per thousand.
$1, right?
Yeah,
You change the number to $1.
yeah. So, yeah, $100 per $100,000 of valuation.
You're recommending 6.8.
Yeah, 680, I think is it leaves you a nice overlay.
Right, because people, we probably will have a number of applications.
Yeah,
Significant amount of applications.
yeah, and that's okay. That's to be expected with a reevaluation.
So, but this leaves us with 100, this, we would be voting to raise another 100,000, 1655082, so that should give us enough if we need to do abatements.
Yeah, and if we exceed that for some reason, we have some crazy numerical mistake that brings us over that,
Right.
we have authority to take it out of surplus.
Wonderful thing in budgeting.
So
You have options.
you're going with 6.8 or 6.85?
680.
With the 142 overlay?
With the 106.
106.
680.
106, 106.
Yeah.
For the overlay.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have a lot of overlay need. And that's, I'm not sure 100 is gonna be enough, 106.
There are remedies if we go over.
Yeah, then you would go into surplus, which I think is more viable. Because if you don't use that amount of money for abatements, you're basically overtaxing.
I've always been of the thought that overlay is not a savings account.
Right.
You don't pad that to, just in case.
Based upon the response we've had for those letters that went out, I
Well, I
expect
know,
a significant amount of.
But you also just drop the taxes too.
Right, just because everybody applies for abatement doesn't mean they're gonna get.
Yeah, you just drop the dollar off the mill rate.
Abatements.
Well, kind of like a good assessor.
Abatements are granted only when there is a reason why there was a mistake in the original valuation. There may be a lot of applications, but there likely will not be all that many.
Too much overlay is an unfounded tax.
Yeah, it is.
So,
That's how I feel about it.
and 70,000 might not be enough,
Mhm.
but 106,550 should be enough. That's another $30,000, and that's $30,000 in my mind is still a lot of money.
And if we go to the higher one, we're only doing 36,000, which isn't.
Right.
I would rather stay in the middle. I don't want to tax too low, and I don't want to tax too high.
Mhm.
Right, right.
I know, you don't want us to tax it all. Well,
And Julie's comfortable with the 680.
Yeah, Julie likes the 680.
Then that makes sense. I move that we set the tax rate at $680. And with a $106,550.82 overlay.
and second that, all in favor? Opposed?
And just as a fun fact, in reviewing the stabilized accounts today, which Mr. Brewer helped us with, 36 people will see a decrease in their tax amount below their stabilized amount.
Excellent.
So I think that's really good news for the people who really
Really
could use that.
36.
36.
Excellent.
And those are just the stabilized accounts.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah. Good, so Julie would like you all to initial the 680 tax rate, so if you could just.
How many stabilized accounts do we have? Ballpark.
I don't have them with me, but I think it's 253. Something in that vicinity.
Briefly stabilized.
At least at the
Yeah,
moment.
very briefly.
Business item 3, West Bath portion of the total county tax levy for 2023-2024 is $818,044. The municipal assessors are asked to certify that the county tax assessment will be committed to the tax collector and will pay to the county treasurer by September 15th.
I move that we certify the county tax assessment and commit that and authorize payment to the county treasurer by September 15th.
Seconded, all in favor?
That's a big number.
Yes, it is, and they moved up the due date, which
By
is
2
not
weeks.
helpful to us.
Let's see, on the.
I thought that was early.
It is early, and they didn't notify
The
everybody.
31st of October, so 6 weeks actually.
So they have a budget of a sum of $10,312,285.
As Peter would say, it's only money.
But we were the 4th lowest
Where is Peter?
out of the county, if it makes anyone feel better.
Sometime we know what we have for residents, we need to see what those other towns have for residents and see how it comes out per person.
Who's that?
Well, aside from Russell.
So, you know, all the towns, their evaluations are look like crazy now.
Thank you.
So, any public comments? Yes.
I'd like to express to the select board a concern I have with the reappraisal process as I experienced. I am concerned with the interview process where I talked to one of the assessors, Bob. We went through various things, showed him pictures, whatever. I pointed out a variety of errors in the property card, such as area of the property, shore frontage, number of rooms, water supply, and a few other things. He noted all this, scribbled it all down, whipped out his calculator, said, tap, 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 okay, this is what it'll be, and now that things have been finalized, nothing that we discussed was changed on the property card. As a result, I'm going to have to go to the process of appeal or abatement, and all that could have been avoided if he had noted what he had agreed to at the time. And I don't know how many others are in that situation, but it just seems unnecessary.
I've heard other comments about that. Wrong sightings, wrong elements labeled. So this, I I think we're gonna see a significant amount of abatement,
Yeah, but it's just, a lot of it could have been avoided, I think.
100%.
And it basically comes down to garbage in, garbage out, the old computer maxim, and it's often unnecessary.
Thank you for your concern.
So he agreed the changes were needed, but didn't change anything.
Well,
That,
I think part of the problem is that Bob's not the one who makes the changes, and there seems to have been a disconnect between what Bob and Tim were doing and the information getting to Jess so that she could change it in Trio. So some of that did not happen.
So how can we get that to happen rather than having abatement?
We can't.
You can't
We
now.
need to follow the process. That's the only way that we're gonna get it correct.
You just said the mill rate.
Right. Yeah. I understand that it's unfortunate that people need to file for abatement, but it really doesn't need to be a difficult process.
But I think there's gonna be a significant amount of that request
We know
that
that.
is,
and it's unnecessary time and wasted effort when the assessor should have done their job at the end.
we're gonna have many meetings, I think, during the abatement process.
Well, it's just, everybody's, there's a disconnect, but damn it, I'm tired of the disconnects, to be honest with you.
Yes,
You pay this type of money,
Yeah,
you shouldn't have these disconnects.
It is a difficult process. People make mistakes.
but it seems like
And we
there's a
can't go
lot.
back, so
And
we will deal with it. And most of it is gonna be dealt with internally, so.
And
No, I'm
part,
not sure I care for that process.
and part of,
No, there's a lot of people that
And
have
we
that
have to follow
experience.
state statute too. I mean, we can't make up our
I
own
just feel like
processes.
we always make excuses for everything that doesn't go right, and I'm hoping that if we do this process again, we can hold them to a higher standard, because I
It's
hear
gonna
it
be
from,
10 years from now.
I know, but I hear it from, and this has got nothing to do with current people, but I hear it from the planning group to the position John Bean's in, and the cemetery, and it's like, how do we make some of this stuff stop? How do we get it right?
We're not going to get it right all the time. This is not easy stuff that we're doing.
I
Yeah,
get
but
that.
the mislabeling of siding or not putting the square footage in, that's a significant gap that wasn't put forth in an appropriate process. Because now, the three of us as the abatement process, we're gonna have many, many meetings.
That's possible, and I understand that. But I am choosing not to dwell on mistakes that were made and move forward with the million things that we're trying to accomplish here.
And I understand, but it makes me friggin' angry. Right now, I am angry, because everything I went through with the cemetery thing here, it just feels like another, we're not gonna dwell on this, we're not gonna worry about it. The person that pays the price is the individual, and frankly, I'm tired of it.
We're not responsible for the cemetery.
Nobody's responsible for anything.
No, the cemetery is not something we're responsible for, and I need to make that clear to the people who are listening. That's not a town function.
We have someone who paid from the
We
town
also-
to do that, I thought.
we also, it's a different place. We also need to keep in mind that when we put out our RFP looking for a company to do the job, we didn't get replies. And the people who did the job, however thoroughly or not thoroughly, did it. And we didn't have anybody else that wanted the job. So, it might be a lot of money, but apparently it wasn't enticing enough. And I also, not to excuse anybody, but we also had, how many years? From 2008 to now, we had continuing problems with the property cards and the specifications from the last evaluation. So we hopefully will get stuff cleared up through this year, and yes, we will have a lot of meetings, and that's why they pay us the big bucks. It's what our job is. And so I certainly hope that if people have concerns about their assessment, they bring it to us so that things can be cleared up right now, forever. Well, maybe
I'm not,
for now.
I'm not sure that the resolution is to dip into our fund to pay for the abatement on this when it could have been addressed prior to setting a mill rate.
Maybe it could have, maybe it wasn't necessary in some cases. Maybe people misunderstood and they aren't entitled to abatement. That's some of it, not all of it. But not everybody who is complaining is entitled to abatement, and we will figure that out during the process.
What are you figuring out, just the formula?
No, we're figuring out whether or not the assessors got accurate information.
Or input the information that they actually received also.
But how do you do that other than taking the taxpayer's word or going out on the site?
You go visit.
But they went, supposedly twice to each location.
At least twice.
Not inside.
Yeah, sometimes they were not allowed inside. A
Well,
lot
no
of the
one asked.
complaints,
And sometimes no one was home, and
right, I mean, a lot of the complaints that we're hearing about is about internal stuff, like double sinks versus single sinks. They didn't have an option to see that, okay, in some cases. This is not a perfect science, and I understand it's a lot of work, and a lot of work for our taxpayers, I get that. But there's a process that we need to follow, and we will follow it through, and people's values will be corrected where it's deserving, and next year, we won't have the same issues.
We'll have
It's
different
a,
ones.
it's a reevaluation
we
process.
said that every year.
Revaluations are not every year.
And it feels like
Just
more
as a
restrictive.
counterexample, when the assessor came by my place, people were home, he did not ask to go inside, took pictures, wandered around and left. No asking to go inside.
You didn't ask to go inside my place either.
And another comment on the process.
My parents did get asked if they could go inside, so I think it's,
I wasn't home when they came, so I have no idea how to do it.
I've heard all different stories.
Another comment on the process now. Now, the property cards are set. When you, the select board, take the first whack at abatements, the first things people should do is say, these things are wrong in the property cards, and then you either believe them or see pictures, or you go there and look and you determine the validity. But what should happen then is it gets pumped through the Vision software again
No,
to
we
be
don't use-
reassessed. But
we
that's
don't
what I'm
use
saying.
Vision.
You
Right.
won't do that because it's too difficult, and that would solve the
No,
problem.
we don't use Vision
Vision
anymore.
is gone.
Ah, okay, who's it? It's Trio.
Trio.
Yeah, it's Trio, but it's,
So, yes.
what it should do is you should pump it through Trio, and that would say, but I don't think you or the town are gonna do that. And then you get to much more nebulous property. What is this property worth? Heck, there are only 2 comparable properties in the town, and they weren't sold.
It definitely goes through the,
We won't.
it goes through the software program and we print out a new card. I mean, you'll have a new card.
Based on those entries.
Yeah,
On the edited.
after the abatement is,
Based on the corrections.
yeah.
Okay, that's.
So in theory, your following tax bill the following year should be accurate,
Right.
presuming nothing has changed.
And I'm saying the abatement will be based on the revisions to
On-
the property card, is that
On the
correct?
revision, yes.
Will it, when the property card is corrected, will that be run through a vision
The trio.
trio again?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So that,
so you will have to wait a week or 2 or whatever it takes to have that process done after the abatement request.
It will take a little time, yes.
Yes, it will take time.
But you should be able to get an updated property card soon thereafter.
And so no decision will be made at the appeal time, it will be at some later time.
No, we made it the appeal time, we traditionally, yeah.
Well, you can't run it through the program that fast.
But if we're gonna, I believe, because I spoke to Christina, we'll have I'll say a formula that says that aluminum siding versus wood, or whatever that, and there's a dollar value to the square footage to that, so we're gonna be able to, in that meeting, tabulate what that altered value should be.
The value will be based on the assessed value would be stated, as well as the dollar value in the abatement. You have both values.
I'm just questioning whether it will indeed go through the Trio software.
Yes, it definitely will, it has to.
Okay, before the result is announced. Okay.
No.
No, you request the amount. You're going to say, don't have a fireplace, so this $712 should not be there. And so that, I mean, those values come off then.
Yeah, the values will be adjusted based on the
Okay.
value that's being abated.
My lot is 0.3 acres instead of the 1.2 acres you have me at. What's my new assessment?
I'd have to see what there's
Yeah,
a
we need
grid.
to look
We'll
at the
have a
cost.
chart. that'll have it.
Okay, we'll see how it works out, I
So,
guess.
most
But it would have
people-
been so much easier to just have it popped in to begin with.
100%.
So
I agree
most
with that.
people didn't get a card, so a lot of people, should they come to the town and
Absolutely.
They should if they have a question.
Absolutely.
see, I
And make
think
sure they get all
most of
3
the town
pages.
people know that.
Well, that's part of our job in the next few weeks, is to make sure that people understand that the figures that they're seeing are not drawn out of thin air. They're based on information, and people being people, errors are made. If you believe there is an error in your billing, an error in your property card, please come and get your property card and start the process for having the accurate information recorded as your property stands now. There are sometimes very clear and sometimes arcane ways in which things are valued, and it is not unusual for people to not understand. It's not unusual for people to make errors in the process. That's why there is a stated abatement process, and it's enshrined in state statute. When assessors get together, they have very interesting conversations about what things are worth. It's kind of interesting. The rest of us don't necessarily understand what they're talking about, but they do. So what we're trying to do is make sure that people understand there is a process for letting the town office know that you disagree with the way in which your property has been valued, that there is a way of looking at that again. There's a whole process for that. We can go through it, and we, as the Board of Assessors, will do our very best to make sure that everyone in town receives a fair tax bill based on things, on standards that are set by law.
It would, as you were indicated, it'd be very important to encourage people to get their property card and make any corrections
Absolutely.
and
Carla, can you put
substantiate.
that on our website? It says, if you, as you plan potentially for abatement, please
You know,
make
I'm
sure.
not being mean or anything, but I think the majority of people don't know the process.
No.
And it's our job to educate them, and what I'm hearing from individuals are, my property just went up 4 times what it was.
That's irrelevant.
And I say, well, do you have an assessment from a bank or something? No, never had one. So they've never heard of a property card.
What is the time limit of commitment you're allowed to ask for abatement?
180 days, I think.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So starting
quite a
today.
long period
So
of time.
people should know they have 180 days to apply for abatement.
Yeah. And we'll have plenty of information on the website.
But
Carly's
all
been
that
working on
stuff
that.
is important, and we haven't got it out in the years. How do we get all this stuff out?
Okay, so is there gonna be a formula page that we can, so I can say, here's.
Yes, I was taught today how to print out a manual of sorts, so you will each get a binder with.
But because, and put that as a PDF on the website, so if
I-
someone wants to.
Yes.
I guess we could.
But if they wanna see their formula on how we're gonna evaluate, they should
Yeah,
get
if
the
they want-
information.
Yeah, that's
So we should give them the tools so they can do this at home or ask for help, or so they can feel confident that we've addressed their concern and we've shown them how the process works. I think that's very important.
The same thing that we've been doing with the planning board, that the process has always seemed like a secretive little town hall club, and they're the only ones that know. And many more people today know that process, thanks to the things you've been doing, than they ever knew before. And so it's just how do we keep educating, keep getting
Right.
what we're not a
And
secret
it's a
club yet.
constant thing, you know, we need to be working on it constantly.
And,
We can put more stuff on the website, and that's,
Yeah,
yes, and we might be able to put something in as an addendum to the tax bill, so one of the things that I early on learned when I became a member of the select board was I didn't really know how the tax bill was created in the first place. And I don't think that I was that unusual. I mean, people don't always understand what happens between the town meeting at the school and what happens at the office. So those, as simple as that. And then I don't think people know generally that there's a book.
How hard would it be to include the tax card in with their bill, so they see it?
that would be difficult.
Yeah, I'm struggling to,
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out how to even export them so that we can upload them, because those will be online as soon as I can get them online.
They're going online, good.
but it's as easy as coming into the town office and requesting it. It's very
But
simple.
or calling the town office, we can.
Yeah, we can send it to
So maybe a year or two down the road it might become an option, but right now, where it's a new process, we're.
Right, the best thing to do would be for the card is to come in and request it.
I think the best thing to do is call and we
Yeah.
can email it to you.
That too, especially for out-of-town taxpayers, it's
Right.
certainly an option, we can email it very easily.
The Board of Assessment Review on its webpage does have a description of things to consider if you were doing an appeal. And if anything, I think that should be beefed up, and it's like 15 years old or 10 years old. That you really should have them look at it and redo it, because they're going to get a lot of traffic on this. And in particular, an error I've seen in the past is Joe Blow says, yeah, my thing is increased 5 times. My local realtor signed a statement here, said my house is worth Y, you've assessed me for X, and the Board of Assessment Review is going to throw that out as unwarranted, he's not certified, he's not this, he's not that. So to save people wasting time, and in particular their money, it should be specified, for example, what kind of assessment by what kind of person would you
Right.
consider accepting,
Right.
or even say you would accept.
Whose authority can the assessment
Yes.
review board?
Yes.
But even if we can, yes, either at some point get the property cards available,
Yes.
and then have the manual that shows the formula, you can sit there and go, okay, I have X amount of square footage, I don't have brick, I have this, so here's what the rate should be. You can, and you go by square foot, all of that, it shows you the formula. I think people would at least feel confident in the number if they had a chance to participate in tabulating it and going through that. And then if there's an error, that's when we have an abatement. But I think it's, but at least helping them understand it.
And when the tax bills go out, the website will be very comprehensive, because I am fully expecting lots of phone calls and questions, rightly so, on how do I challenge this. And I've told people that information will be online, and I'll include in that first thing you should do is request your property card. And it's fairly easy to read.
when you anticipate the tax bills being sent out.
Commitment is August 28th,
So the send out would be,
so August 28th is Monday,
Monday
so the
after
tax
next.
bills will be sent out on the 29th.
whoa.
If you can find the right envelope stuffers.
Yeah.
One other note on the property cards, there are subjective factors in there. Okay, the 1.5, the 1.25, so those things are not black and white, so you will face those issues too.
Right, yeah. There's not a clear formula. There's a book of standards.
Yeah.
Okay?
Very good.
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you. Second that. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
I mean, so few people, I can't believe it, but a lot of viewers, someone's there with a woodpecker finger.